With the view from the upper deck, I'm Roger Walsh. The NFL is in its downtime. Well, downtime for the NFL is as much as they have, as players and coaches have repaired back to their places of residence as everyone gets ready for training camp and the long grind ahead. Obviously, the big news with the Bills in the offseason was the hiring of Joe Brady on January 27th to a 5-year deal. And Joe Brady really came up. His ascension has been very quick from quarterbacks coach to head coach. With offensive coordinator took over for Ken Dorsey in 2023, gave him the full-time job after the season, and it's now the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And it was interesting to me that the consternation of Bills fans when Sean McDermott was let go. And look, everybody, every Bills fan, Bills Mafia everywhere owes a debt of gratitude to Sean McDermott for turning around, which was quite honestly a rudderless franchise, and turning it in the right direction and making it a perennial playoff team and a perennial Super Bowl favorite. And he didn't do this just with Josh Allen. He did it by changing the culture. I mean, when you think about it, when McDermott took over, it was a 16-game season. So I used to laugh. My friend Chris and I would laugh when the schedule would come out. We got 13 1 o'clock games, 2 4:05s, and the obligatory Thursday night football. So everybody complaining about primetime football and messes your schedule up. Be thankful that the Bills are featured so frequently in prime time, because that means they're playing great football and everyone wants to see them play. But Bills fans seem to be a little bit disappointed they went in-house and not the sexy hire. I mean, you weren't going to get Bill Belichick out of North Carolina. That's too sweet a gig. And he likes it. All reports he likes it there. We'll see how the future turns there. Clint Kubiak, yes, that's one name that wasn't interviewed, but sources behind the scenes say that Kubiak wanted to start from the ground up, and he's going to get that opportunity for sure in Las Vegas when they drafted Mendoza as number one. So he's going to mold him from the start. I would say this to Bills fans here from the upper deck. If you laid across the 9, 10, 11 resumes that were in front of the Terry Pagula and Brendan Bean and the Bills brain trust at One Bills Drive, and you just cut off the top letterhead of it and took out the names and just looked at the resume itself, the results, Joe Brady is the obvious hire here. His offense is in the top three every year. Last year, they're fourth in points per game, first in rushing. There's talk that maybe he had the shackles put on him as far as the passing game. He has made comments in the offseason about how he's going to go more downfield, and that remains to be seen. But the resume speaks for itself. And yeah, he's young, and that's fine. But he smartly has brought in Pete Carmichael as the offensive coordinator, who's been there before in the same system. He's brought in John Fox, who's been to a Super Bowl, who has decades of coaching experience to help him through the minutia and the twists and turns that an NFL season throws at a rookie coach. Those have been every coach, especially as a rookie. To have those kind of sounding boards, veteran sounding boards with experience to bounce things off of, shows that Brady knows the job in front of him is big, and he's going to need all the help he can get, and willing to have all the help he can get. And that's the difference, because some coaches' egos don't allow that. To me, the story of the 2026 season isn't the offense, it's the defense. Jim Leonhard comes over after a quick ascension as well through the coaching ranks through Wisconsin, and then being the assistant head coach with the Denver Broncos and defensive passing game coordinator, ex-Bill, Raven, Jed, under the Rex Ryan days, where Rex found a diamond in the rough and shined him up. It's going to be interesting to see as Jim Leonhard implements this 3-4 hybrid, which basically is control the early downs, stop the run, be aggressive, and confuse the blocking schemes. The question to me in the early part of the season is, how long does it take for the defensive players to get this system? Because it's completely different than the passive bend but don't break philosophy of Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier. This is an active defense, an aggressive defense. And it's some of these guys are going to get it right away. Some of them, it's going to be asking someone who's right-handed to throw left-handed. It's going to take some while. They are going to make some big plays early in the season, but they be prepared. They are also going to give up some big plays early in the season as they figure out exactly their positioning and what their responsibilities are, play to play, down to down, drive to drive, game to game. There are going to be growing pains. There's going to be growing pains with Joe Brady as a first-time head coach. Every coach has them. Belichick had them. Parcells had them. They wanted to fire Bill Parcells after the first 2 seasons before he turned it around. But it is truly a new era in Bills football. Fascinating to me that nobody has covered the fact that uh, Joe Brady, in his last game as offensive coordinator, went up against the passing coordinator, Jim Leonard of the Denver Broncos. So Joe Brady made some quick reference to this about the discussion they had. It's like, okay, what were you trying to do here? How did you respond to us doing that? And back and forth. And to me, this just makes them both better coaches right away with the immediacy of that playoff game being just a month after Jim Leonard was hired. That must have, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that one. That's for sure. But, you know, the questions remain, and they're big questions, and we're going to get answers to them. How impactful will the free agent prize of DJ Moore be in this offense? How does Keon Coleman, the ultimate wild card on the offense, respond after what has been, charitably speaking, a tumultuous start to his Bills career? How long will the defense take to grasp Jim Leonard's scheme? Like I said previously, does it take 3 or 4 weeks? Does it take 8 or 9? And what will the record be when they finally start to turn the corner on defense? Because it is going to take them some time. How is Joe Brady's in-game management going to be under fire in the fourth quarter of a close game? Sean McDermott left a lot to be desired in those situations. This was prepped during the interview, and from what I heard, it was really intense. And under fire, it's going to be intense on the sideline. So how will Joe Brady be different in that sense? Can the defense finally get a pass rush in January in the fourth quarter? That has been the killer on defense during these playoff losses. And this is something that Jim Leonard has been brought in to turn around. Yes, they want to install a new hybrid scheme. And yes, it's going to be different. But I don't think for a second the questions weren't asked. Okay, when we go up against Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or whoever it may be in the AFC playoffs and the AFC wild card divisional round or championship, what do you have in store for this that they have not seen yet that would make us more effective? Because they're basically one stop in each of these playoff games from winning and moving on, and in some cases the Super Bowl. Can Josh Allen? Well, who's really worried about him? I'm not worried about Josh Allen at all. He's in his prime. He's got 4 to 5 great years left, and then even after that, he's going to be very good. So I'm not worried about him. But these are the answers coming into the 2020s, the questions and the answers we're looking for in the 2026 season. These are the answers that we will get at some point during this season. It's going to be a fascinating ride. As Van would say, fasten your seatbelts. It's a new era. It's a new stadium. It's a new outlook. And it is going to be a wild ride this year with a lot of unknowns. And this team still is poised to make a Super Bowl run. And I really predict that they are going to be down to the last 4 teams when it comes down to it. They have the capacity. They have the quarterback. They have the coaching. And we'll see if this upgrade at coaching, is it an upgrade? Is it enough to get them over the hump? You and I together, we shall see. With the view from the upper deck, I'm Roger Walsh.